Dear Sagittarius, your May begins with a strange feeling. Nothing dramatic is happening, yet you feel oddly out of sync with yourself. You still smile, still work, still appear to be fine, but deep down, you're starting to question things that once felt so certain. A friend you used to trust suddenly goes silent. A pursuit you followed for so long suddenly loses its meaning, and a feeling you thought you'd moved past is now quietly knocking on your heart. I've looked closely at your astrological chart for this month, and I need to be direct. Planetary movements are pushing you to realign your path, both externally and internally. Your finances, your love life, your one-on-one relationships, and even your sense of self-worth, all of these are shifting. But instead of fearing it, tune in, because what's about to unfold, if you're paying attention, could quietly become a turning point in your life. So, what is your May truly made of? What are the subtle currents of energy shaping your emotions, your choices, and even the smallest of everyday decisions? Let's take a closer look, starting with the core cosmic forces that are quietly steering your month ahead. Your love life this month won't be about feelings alone. It's shifting fully into a phase of clarity. Whether you're in a relationship, single, or still holding on to the image of someone from the past, everything is about to become clear. No more ambiguity, no more halfway connections. And because of that, you need to be aware of what's coming, so you're not caught off guard when emotions start to shift. You don't love to be held back, you love to fly further. And this May, your love life will reflect that exact truth. Are you being honest with your feelings, or are you still clinging to something that's already out of sync? Starting on May 22, the Sun and Venus enter Gemini, your opposite sign, illuminating your 7th house, which governs one-on-one relationships like romantic bonds, deep companionships, and long-term commitments. This is when relationships become real, clear, and transparent. No more pretending everything's fine. If you're in a serious relationship, unresolved issues will start to surface. No one's hiding anymore. The only question is, are you ready to face what's real? Conversations will happen, whether intentionally or by accident. You'll clearly sense that your partner needs more closeness, more clarity, more reassurance. Meanwhile, you, as a Sagittarius, may start feeling like your personal space is shrinking. That's your first red flag. If truths aren't spoken aloud, the emotional bond may distort, and one of you could end up feeling trapped, even while still holding hands. You can't rescue a relationship by pretending everything's normal. If there's something you've been afraid to ask, this is the month to ask it. And if they're not ready to answer, at least you'll know what's being left unsaid. Venus in Gemini doesn't force a breakup, but it also doesn't let you stay misaligned in silence. If you're single, this month might bring someone new into your life. They may charm you with their words, intellect, or shared passions that light you up. But be cautious. Not everyone who speaks well is someone you should trust your heart with. Gemini is a sign of curiosity, exploration, and a little inconsistency. People who show up quickly may leave just as fast, unless you establish your boundaries early. Venus in Gemini encourages you to explore, connect, speak, and open up, but not to commit too fast, especially with someone you met online or a connection that deepens rapidly after just a few dates. Let yourself observe. Do they really listen when you're quiet? Do they stick around when you're not radiating joy like on day one? And if someone walks away this month, don't rush into sadness. The universe is just tuning your frequency. The right person won't be afraid of truth. And those who only wanted to keep you as a backdrop in their story, they'll naturally disappear once you start living in your truth, with the freedom and integrity that define who you truly are. Your career this month doesn't take off with a bang. Instead, it moves quietly, yet with meaningful momentum. Outwardly, not much may seem to change, but internally something is starting to stir. If you've been feeling less inspired lately, even though your work routine hasn't shifted, that's not a sign you're losing your edge. It's Pluto, currently in retrograde in your second house, urging you to reassess your core values and how you earn your living. With Pluto retrograding all month in the realm of finances and self-worth, it's pressing on something you may have avoided, the feeling of being trapped in a job you once chose freely. You may be doing well, trusted by others, and earning a steady income, yet something feels off. It's as if you're pouring 100% of your energy into something that only allows you to live 30% of your true self. That's not burnout, that's your inner voice reminding you, it's time to live in alignment with who I really am. If you're in a stable position, you may start to feel restless, tired of the meetings, the deadlines, the constant need for polite professionalism. But don't rush to quit. This is a chance to pause and reflect on what's truly draining you, and begin shifting things slowly but intentionally. Maybe it's time to change how you work, learn something you've long been curious about, or invest your evenings into a personal side project that makes you feel alive again. And if you're freelancing, doing creative work, or carving your own path, this is the month to ask yourself a core question. Do I still believe in what I'm doing? If the answer is yes, then recommit to it with the same fire you had at the beginning. If not, take a step back and realign before you drift too far from your original why. Pluto doesn't strip away opportunities, it strips away illusions. And when those illusions fall, what's left is clarity. Are you working for a paycheck or for a purpose? And as a Sagittarius, you already know, without purpose, no amount of money will ever feel like freedom. Your finances this month may not fluctuate much in numbers, but subtle shifts will start happening in your mindset. You'll begin to see more clearly how money affects your emotions, and whether you're truly earning with intention or simply enduring for a reason that no longer feels right. Questions like, where is my money really coming from? Or, am I spending for joy or just to uphold an image? Will surface naturally even if you've never consciously thought to ask them. All of this is driven by Pluto retrograding throughout the month in your second house, the area tied to income, self-worth, and how you define your value. When Pluto moves backward here, it acts like a spotlight on the corners you've avoided for too long. Unnecessary expenses, contracts taken out of fear, moments where you've sold yourself short. The real issue isn't your bank account. It's the relationship you've built with money itself. You'll start to feel drained by certain invisible expenses, like pitching in when you don't want to, buying things to save face, or spending to fill emotional gaps. This is your turning point. Will you keep up the illusion of stability to soothe others, or finally start using your money in ways that truly bring you joy? From this May, as Venus joins the Sun in your 7th house, you might receive invitations to collaborate or take on a side gig. It could come from an old friend, someone who's followed your journey quietly, or a person you least expect. The opportunity may bring good income, but it also risks diluting your essence if you say yes just for the money without believing in what you're creating. Remember, Pluto is the planet of power and transformation. If you can realign how you earn and spend this month, you won't just improve your finances, you'll redefine the way you relate to your values. And for a Sagittarius, that's worth far more than a few extra digits in your bank account. There are months when exhaustion doesn't come from doing too much, but from your spirit being stuck in a rhythm that's become too stale. And this May, your health won't be asking for rest in the traditional sense. It'll be asking for freedom, fresh air, and changes that touch your inner world. Let me walk you through, in detail, from your body to your emotions, what's really happening. Beginning May 8, the new moon falls in Taurus, illuminating your 6th house, the area that rules health and daily routines. For others, this might be a good time to get organized, but for you, a fire sign who thrives on movement, too much repetition for too long dims your flame. If you've been losing interest in things you once enjoyed, feeling sluggish despite getting enough sleep, or not wanting to leave the house without knowing why, don't mistake it for laziness. That's your body saying, I'm not tired, I'm just suffocating in sameness. You may not be physically unwell, but your spirit may feel heavy, a quiet kind of weight with no clear reason. And sometimes all it takes is a bit of fresh air, working in a different space, changing your morning routine, or simply going somewhere new. You'll be surprised how quickly your energy can return. For Sagittarius, feeling alive again doesn't come from slowing down, it comes from excitement, movement, and expansion. Then, on May 15, the full moon lands in Scorpio, activating your 12th house, the realm of the subconscious and suppressed emotions. This is when unspoken feelings begin to rise. You might find yourself dreaming more, remembering old stories, or suddenly feeling a heavy chest without knowing why. If you don't let it out, those feelings can turn into physical symptoms: fatigue, dizziness, or unpredictable mood swings. Running, journaling, painting, or simply sitting still to hear yourself, these are all ways to let your body release what your voice couldn't. This month, your health isn't being threatened by illness, but by repetition. If you want to feel better, don't reach for medicine, reach for something new. A short trip, a light workout, or even a few days offline can shift your entire state of being. When you choose to create movement, your body will naturally come back to life. In the first week of May, you may begin to realize that something you once hoped for no longer holds up. Maybe it's a delayed payment, a promised transfer that's been pushed back again, or a collaboration that suddenly falls quiet. You look around and notice you're doing more than others, yet still not being recognized. A quiet disappointment may settle in, and the thought, "Am I being taken for granted?" could slip into your mind, even as you try to brush it off. Pluto begins its retrograde right in your financial sector, and this isn't a sign of bad luck, but a moment of clarity, a moment to see what's quietly draining your energy without truly deserving it. You may realize you're staying at a job out of fear of losing it, not because it still aligns with what you value. Or perhaps you've been holding on to the image of stability for others' sake when deep down, you've been craving change for a long time. Astrology doesn't ask you to quit, but it does whisper, it's time to look closely and choose differently. You're not likely to lose anything tangible this week, but you'll clearly see what no longer belongs on the road ahead. And that's your starting point, to rewrite how you want to earn, in ways that reflect who you truly are, not what drains you. If you're willing to be honest with yourself, this month may quietly become the beginning of something lighter, more real, and far more sustainable than you expected. In the second week of the month, it may feel like you barely have a moment to breathe. Just as you finish dealing with one task, another pops up. From work demands to family needs, from social commitments to unexpected favors. You might get pulled into sudden meetings, asked to handle unreasonable requests, or find yourself cleaning up problems others left behind. You could feel irritable without understanding why, or worse, go completely silent, too drained to speak. The new moon on May 8 falls in Taurus, activating the part of your chart that governs daily work and health. This is when small things begin to build up like quiet waves, slowly draining your energy hour by hour. And suddenly it becomes obvious. You're not weak, you're simply carrying too much, often for others and rarely with recognition. A new moon in the 6th house always whispers the same truth. You can't care for others if you're running on empty. You might experience insomnia, tight shoulders, erratic eating, or a total lack of enthusiasm, even for things you once enjoyed. But this isn't a crisis, it's a signal, a nudge to clean up the tangled rhythm of your life. If you were to write down everything you're juggling right now, you'd probably spot at least 3 things you could let go of immediately, and no one would fault you for it. And in that moment, you'll understand the person who truly needs you well isn't the world, it's you. In the 3rd week, you'll feel that old emotions never really disappeared, they were simply asleep for a while. Someone who once meant a lot to you might unexpectedly text, follow you again, or be mentioned in passing when you least expect it. You might dream about them or stumble upon a song, a photo, a memory that quietly softens your heart. Your mood will feel quieter than usual, not overwhelmingly sad, but just enough to remind you that you need more solitude than usual. The full moon on May 15 lands in Scorpio, which rules your 12th house, the deepest layer of your emotional chart. This is where you keep everything unsaid, the wounds that haven't fully healed, and the sorrow you once pretended to forget. A full moon here doesn't want you to relive the pain. It wants to help you unlock the heart you've kept tightly closed. It's whispering, you're not weak because you remember. You're simply ready to release what you've been holding for too long. You may find yourself crying without knowing why, or softening into a rare stillness. But that quiet moment will heal you more than you expect. Write it down, burn it, send a message, or simply whisper a goodbye that no one hears, and let that be enough. You don't need to go back to the past, but you do deserve to move forward with a heart that feels lighter. In the final week of the month, light begins to shine directly on the most important relationships in your life. You'll feel it more clearly than ever. Who is genuinely moving closer with real intention, and who only shows up when things are going well. Someone who was once vague may suddenly reach out, wanting to talk things through or suggest reconnecting. In love, if you've been in a half-hearted relationship, this is the week when an honest heart-to-heart is likely to unfold. From May 22 through 23, both the Sun and Venus enter Gemini, casting their light on your 7th house, the area that governs one-on-one relationships like romance, collaborations, and long-term commitments. When the 7th house is illuminated, you can no longer pretend not to see. Any distance, imbalance, or hidden truth will naturally rise to the surface, as if the universe is drawing a bold line between who stays and who moves on. Around this time, you may also receive a collaboration offer, an investment proposal, or an idea for a joint project, possibly from someone you know through social media. But stay sharp. The one who speaks well might not deliver, while the one who says little but always shows up when you need them, that's who you can trust. This is a week where intuition should outweigh logic, not to pick the one who pleases you, but the one who makes you feel most like yourself. If you're brave enough to choose what truly aligns with your heart, this week could mark the beginning of a deeply meaningful connection, whether in love, business, or soulful partnership. But if you keep holding on to relationships just to avoid the feeling of emptiness, you'll stay stuck in a comfort zone that quietly wears you down. Remember, the right person doesn't make you anxious about losing them. They make you feel safe enough to be exactly who you are. This May won't be loud, but it will be just loud enough for you to realize something important. There are parts of your life, work, money, relationships, that no longer fit, not because they're wrong, but because you've grown, changed, and no longer find joy in holding on to things just to keep them looking okay. There will be moments when you feel tired, irritable, or simply want to disappear for a few days. And that's not wrong. It's a signal that you need space, a chance to reset a few things in a way that's kinder to your heart. And in those quiet days, you may finally hear what it is you truly want. This is a month for clearing space from the inside out. Let go of what you've been forcing. Step away from relationships that no longer feel sincere, and end the habit of staying silent when what you really need is to be seen and cared for. If there's only one thing you choose to do this month, let it be this: live truthfully with yourself. Because the moment you begin to live in alignment with who you really are, the right things will start finding their way to you. And if there's a true wish in your heart, even a quiet one, write it down beneath this video. Write it as if the universe is listening. Who knows? Saying it out loud might be all it takes to start shifting the path ahead. I'll be back next month to read the sky again, and maybe then, what you once wished for will already be on its way.